Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Let me
Good morning,
turn
good
off
morning,
that
good morning.
music. There you go.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Good morning, Gigi.
Good morning on this Friday. We don't have Ed today. He's actually, I think he's in Florida, right?
Yeah,
He's still
things
down
are,
there.
yep,
Yeah,
things are some personal issues, which is fine.
yeah, which is
More than
good, which
yeah,
happens.
it does happen in our lives. It's okay, but
Hmm.
we surely miss him. So we're looking forward to the next time he's around. He's going to be around, so
Yeah,
that's going to be a good thing.
that's good.
But
You had a good week?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you're
Definitely had
looking forward to that Memorial weekend, Memorial Day weekend, because
honestly,
you.
I'm almost. You know what? It's funny because I was just talking to another agent about it, and I feel like I'm almost forced to like it, right? And this is weird because nobody wants to start showing. Everybody wants to enjoy the Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
So, like I don't
Yeah,
want.
and
I was trying
you should. I
and we
think
should, right? So I'm looking forward to it in the
we've
sense of
been we've been super busy, right? You look tired, I look tired. I think those
yeah,
couple of
yeah,
days will definitely be good for everybody. It's good. It's good to reset. We cannot just keep
absolutely,
going. Because I think when you're
absolutely.
tired, you don't perform as well. And then the client sees, look at you, you little eyes, you're like so tired.
No,
I have
I'm
makeup, but you
actually
should see
so.
underneath the concealer. It's like,
Yeah. No, for me,
oh.
I'm actually I'm a little tired because we did have a happy hour event yesterday, which went really well. With a lot of dancing, a lot of get to
Ah,
knowing and get to know those that were around us. So it was really good in
good.
that aspect. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I
yeah, I
didn't
had fun.
attend. Yeah.
Yeah, next time you should definitely, if we have it back in that same spot. But it
Where
was
was
really
it?
good. And like in our area, was a place called Que Pacho, which is a good, good spot, Spanish spot, good
Okay.
Spanish music, so on and so forth. So
Of course,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So we had a good turnout. I mean, it was a little loud, but it was a good turnout. But
Good. Good.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it as well. So
Okay.
but
So
the good thing
let's,
about I
yeah.
was right about to jump into that too, because the good thing about when you're doing the network events, when you're doing open houses, when you're doing just meeting somebody, there's always this one pivotal point of our work that most people are not really good at, right? And it's really what? It's pretty much the follow-ups. We tend to leave
Hmm.
it and just let it go down the drain. Like we just can't tend to forget about it because all of a sudden our job, other parts of the job becomes too busy. But following
Right.
up is part of our job, right? It's
Yeah.
part of our pretty much our growth in this company,
Yeah.
our growth in our industry.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I feel that, it's not hard just to call somebody up and say hello or, hey, I
Hmm.
remember our conversation,
Right.
or I was just, thinking about what we were talking about the other day, or I saw this 2-bedroom apartment that I thought about. It's not hard to do that, but we tend
It's
to do it
not,
a lot.
but then there are so many things that just go, so many leads. Again, that's the topic of today. I'm just going to add our little slide. Topic of today is really important. There's like 10 reasons some of our leads never call us back. There are many factors in place, like we're going to discuss it. There are remedies. We
Right.
cannot, unfortunately, yes, some people will never call us back. We'll never be able to help them out. That's life. But let's try to make the best of situations. Sometimes like strange situation or weird, or you were not on point, and
Yes.
basically readjust yourself, get back at it,
That's right.
and convert those leads. That's the name
That's
of the
right.
game.
That's
Because we're
right.
still going to talk about production. We're still in the business of
I
selling
think
real
so.
estate. And as I always say, social media marketing, TikTok, dancing, all this,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
good.
It's all good. Absolutely.
It's all
And
good,
it's
but we need to do something about it. We need to make
absolutely,
money.
and it probably just takes a couple of tweaks. I
Yeah,
speak to agents a lot, and I always
yeah,
feel that the four things is once you get to contacts, how do you get to your leads? How do you convert to your leads? How do you convert to your appointments? How do you convert to contracts? If you're not able to go into those sessions, then something in that link is missing. You
right.
just need to twist it. You need to fix it. You need to change something to move into
Okay.
those links pretty quickly.
So we don't have anybody watching
It's
yet, but it's
okay. Let's
okay.
just keep
It's going to
going.
be
That's fine.
recorded.
Yeah,
Let's
of
keep
course.
going. So, reason number one, you waited too long to call them back. let's get the example of you getting a Zillow lead call and you're on appointment, and you obviously don't want to be rude, right? You don't want to tell the buyer you're with, you don't, let me take that call. that's not something you want to do. You want to dedicate time to that Zillow lead, right? So what do you do? Sometimes it's going to take at least maybe an hour, hopefully
Right.
you'll call them back as soon as you can, right? But some
Right.
of us get Zillow leads and they're not answered for days. Days. What do we do? How do you remedy to that? How do you think you can get somebody back for after, like basically they called you on something specific and you call them back 2 days later? How do you get, what's your comeback from that?
Well, I mean, there is.
I know it's a tough one, right? It's tough.
The thing at the end of the day, what happens is that the less times you actually call, the more time you're actually going to lose that person.
Right.
So one of the fastest ways I actually do is either I send out what I already have is a pre-written out text.
Right.
Thanks for the property. I look forward to speaking to you about the property. Let me know when exactly you want to see it.
Right.
And then this is something quickly. Hey, that you're at least acknowledging them for seeing the property, talking to them about the property, and at least giving the idea of speed to lead, where it's like you're getting the contact, the information, so on and so forth, and having them understand that you're going to reach out to them as soon as possible.
Right. So I think the pre-text text is like something simple, like, thank you for calling me. I'll get back to you as possible. Can you please text me the property you're interested in? Something like this. Would something like this work? Because I'm not really working with buyers. I usually tell people I'll be right there with you. Just let me finish with that person. And since usually sometimes it's for showing, most of the time it's agents. So I don't make it that specific, but I know Zillow has a certain number when you're a Zillow Premier agent. So it's Zillow calling. So you can probably have a pretext.
Well, let's
formulate for that.
Look at it in a different way. So whether it's Zillow or anybody else that actually reaches out to you, whether it's they're reaching out to you by your website, they're reaching out to you by Zillow, any other way, somebody who's actually just texting you, you have to have a certain sort of either generic text or something that works well.
Right.
So either, thank you for your interest in real estate. Give me a few minutes. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back in a few minutes so we can discuss what your interest. Boom. That can be something very simple, very quick. If it's something that that it's a property, it doesn't have to be that it's 123 ABC Lane. Thank you for your interest in your property. I look forward to fully discuss this property with you. Let me know exactly what you want to see. Then you move on to a seller. A seller is interested in selling their home. Oh, I'm excited that you're actually interested in thinking about the market. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. I'm in a meeting. We'll talk soon. Boom. And it's 3-3. There you go. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter who and where they're coming from, but it's as long as they're generic in the sense that you're actually getting to them as quick as possible. That's really a good way to handle that.
Right. And you also have CRMs like the ones we're using. I would name KV Core, where actually you can funnel your Zillow leads. The minute they call you, they're going to go into your account, and you can set up basically something where I think you can interact with that lead pretty quickly, right? You can have like a welcome text or anything, right? So that's doable as well. And if you're really busy and cannot even talk to that person for the next couple of hours, it's a good thing to actually start engagement, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Of course. All right. We covered that. Nobody has a question. Let's move on. You did not sound confident over the phone. That's a big one, especially for new agents, right?
Well, that's new agents and seasoned ones. I feel that people don't have the confidence behind the phone no matter what. There's a lot of folks out there that rather have a one-to-one conversation, like a face-to-face versus being on the phone, right? Or they become the Mr. and Mrs. I know it too much, but they don't really sound that confident about what they're saying.
Right. Or sometimes you're just off. Sometimes you just, I've caught myself, and I think I mentioned it on other segments we had. I caught myself re-listening to the recording on Zillow Premier, recording of the conversation I have with a caller, lead, and it's like you're busy, you're doing something else, you're going through the motion, but you're not there, and so it's like this total disconnect. It's horrible, right? And listening back to it, you're like, oh my god, what the hell? You sound borderline rude, not even rude because you're not there. You just and you I don't know, like sometimes you're multitasking, the day was bad, something happening. So it's like it was tough. It's even on things where obviously the person never contacted me back, and
Right.
was never able to get them back. But because you sense it, the voice. If you're nervous, if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, it's a tough one to come back. And I think to me, it's
And it's easy to say to a person that you don't know the answer. It's fine. It's
Right.
okay. You don't have to be, I've always used the phrase, be the source of the resource, right?
Right.
You don't always have to be that. But at the same time, you don't want to give too much information.
Right.
So it's like, you're delivering too much information and underperforming yourself. So,
right. But I would suggest for new agents, basically have a script for inbound call, like a very simple script. Use the Mike Ferry, the Tom Ferry, the whoever, the Kevin Wards, they're all there. Like those inbound call scripts, the couple of lines. So at least you're going to set the tone. You have to sound confident and professional. So I think the script will help you if you're going to always start the same way,
Right. And what's important about starting scripts is that, everybody reads a script, whether they have emotions behind it. Because look, we read books and we have emotions over it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you have, whatever scripts you have, I think what helps with all scripts you do, whichever one you choose, is have a role play partner or partners. This way you can actually hear and they can help you and you can help them hear how you sound over the phone to help build your confidence.
Of course. And I think it's always practice. We're not going to stress it enough. You need to rehearse how you're going to sound, what you're going to say. We don't know what the conversation is going to lead to, but at least you take charge from the beginning. Those scripts really help you. Yeah. All right. Absolutely. And do you still have some script practice calls? Do you still do that in the morning?
Morning hasn't happened as much, but yes, I do have them, periodically.
That's good. That's good. So guys, get an accountability partner, rehearse scripts. That would definitely help you out.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Millennials out there. Because I'm a Gen Xer. Yeah. 1965. Yes. I'm a Gen X.
I don't remember which one I'm at, but
you probably the end. You probably the end of the Gen X, beginning of the millennial.
Yeah.
So millennials are you don't answer the phone. I don't think they even use that function on their phone. They don't make phone calls.
So either. I don't think so either. But it's funny with this one. It's funny because to me, when I speak to younger agents, the first thing they say, I'm like, "How many phone calls you made?" I made a lot of texts.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But I'm my kids, my daughters, especially my oldest daughter, is even communicating with her own mother. Is I call her, she'll text me back. Please text me, and I'm like, what?
Right.
I'm your mom. Pick up the freaking phone.
Exactly.
But that I think we have to adapt to our customer style. Yes, and millennials are tech savvy and all that, and they may not like the phone much, but I think we need to, for us, the agents, especially the older ones, adapt, do understand how they think and just use more social media. Just catch them different ways, via text message or private message. And I think this is what you need to do, So hopefully there are more of you millennials. So the older crowd like me would like to get a call. We do. We like that interpersonal relationship where we hear the voice and we can tell jokes, because the emojis, first of all, I need a translator for most of the emojis. So that doesn't work for me, And reading a text that has one word, 5 emoji, a poop emoji, and something else, I'm like, I'm done. I'm lost. All
Right.
right. Yeah.
Well, that's
So,
the thing. I mean, and again, you said something that the older folks will need to learn how to text and be more savvy.
mhm.
But it goes back to the millennials need to learn how to use the phone, right? Because it goes back to that sense of you get more information out of the person that you're needing to speak to over the phone than you do with text. I can tell you that there's been so many times when people will send me a capital letters on certain something, and I'm like, do you know you're yelling at me right now? And they're
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah. So yes,
right.
you're right. You're
So
right. You're right.
it becomes a little bit to the point of yes, both sides need to learn the middle ground of it, which is
Right.
we
But
need to learn more
we
text.
the customer is always right. So I feel like to me it's hard to even if I'm gonna deal with a millennial, I set the tone and tell them I do like phone conversations. I'll back it up with text and email if anything. Um but I do like to have, voice conversations. That's
Which is
usually works
fine.
better for me.
I
And then they'll know.
Yeah, they'll know. And you always ask them, always, like which is better for you,
Yeah.
texting or calling.
Of course, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. But that's an easy one to actually. That's a hurdle. That's something you want to make sure. I mean, you put those little systems in place. You have to understand how you customers and consumers think, and go with the flow and get them.
yeah, of
This
course.
one is you got your first phone call, you picked up your Zillow call, you picked up your internet lead, wherever it's at, and you thank God you got that first phone call, but you did not make a personal connection. So yes, those leads will not call you back. All right. How do you get back from that? All right.
How would you do it?
Let me think about this one second. I so if you were it depends. I mean, sometimes it's even you. Maybe you did not read the personality. And I'm gonna always put it on myself.
Okay.
This is how I'm gonna answer. It's on me because if I'm not able to read the personality, and it's gonna come down to also studying personality profile. It's always the same thing. We're going back over the same thing.
Right.
If I'm not
Right.
able to read my lead, my potential, client, customer, it's on me. If I cannot see or hear what is important to them, and then like find how you say that in French, it's called atome crochu, like those linking atoms,
Uh-huh.
where you're gonna bond with the person, and they're not going to feel any interest in pursuing a business relationship with you. It's on me, you know so you have to make sure that you stay in tune with the person you're listening to, and hear, like their voice intonation, the speed of their voice, the type of questions they're going to be asking. If they require a lot of details, you have to mirror them, right? And give them a lot of details. If you sense they're like a super D and they just want the bottom line, go for it, and don't even be afraid to even be like super direct, you
Right.
know and like, but you have to feel your customer, and that comes with a little bit of experience, and that means you have to keep on doing it. All right.
Yeah, I mean, to me, honestly, it's the biggest thing for me, or at least the biggest change for me, was the fact that
Right.
I'm an introvert in the sense that I don't speak a lot, I don't really connect a lot. And one of the few things that I've learned in this career, is not to say so much, but ask a lot of questions, right?
Right.
So when you're asking a lot of questions, you build the information by which the person that's answering, you get all that information into you, and now you're figuring out exactly what they want and what they're speaking about, right?
Right.
And you try to relate to that. And a couple of things that I've also learned in the sense that it's, people will only do business with who they know and who they recognize, right? So if they don't feel comfortable working with you, they're not going to work with you at all. So you need to
Right.
actually ask a certain question, and don't be more of a interrogator or pretty much
Yeah, I mean,
interview
feel, do a
Just-
connection. Yeah,
right.
like
Just
feel
ask
feel
the
them
question
out.
like,
Yeah.
what motivates them to move? What motivates them to leave?
Have a conversation. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Just build on that, and then
Show
you'll
interest.
notice that and that every question that you ask becomes a question that it's pretty much like, you ask and just stay shut and let them answer the question, and you'll see how much rapport you build out of it from there alone. So questions are not hard. You
Right.
just have to, whether you may think they're dumb, sometimes they're not
Right.
dumb, because some
Right.
people may answer those questions for you.
Right. And that's why I believe to talking to the consumer first before you start, like even formulating like an email back or a text back. Because sometimes, again, if it's way too much information for that person, it's a turnoff.
Yeah.
Some people will require it. And again, you're absolutely right. By asking questions, you know what they need and what they want.
Absolutely.
And then most likely, if they feel that you're in tune and that you're listening, they definitely will call you back. Even if you guys have total different personality. I'm very extroverted, but I'm working well, even though sometimes I just want to wring their neck. But I'm working pretty well with super analytical people.
Yeah.
Because I learned, and again, I learned to just like, let's tone down, let's zone in on them, let's make sure they would appreciate my questions, because they would appreciate that I'm trying to understand what they're looking for. And I know they will give me a 2.5 hour, description of what they need. And that's okay. That's okay.
Well,
as long as we're getting a follow-up call and getting.
And to me, that's funny, because the fact that you're saying 2.5 hour analytical answer, for me, who's somebody who's over,
you're analytical.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's not even over analytical, but a person who's pretty much talkative, who's an extrovert, so on and so forth, extrovert. One question can last 10 minutes, which could have answered in 1 minute.
Right.
So it's like, for me, and exactly how you said, it's like, oh my God, can you just get to it already?
Yeah.
To me, it's like, oh my God, can we get to this answer already so I can get to the next one?
But
I had to learn that. I had to learn that.
Sometimes we have to adapt. Like we just had a listing appointment with one of my compatriots, like with a French person. And at the end of our listing presentation, Vincent was telling me this was way too long. It was 2.5 hours. I'm like, no, it's not, because culturally, same thing. You're also having to be in tune with the culture. I'm in that sense, I'm more pro not having the bonding part when you don't talk about business right away. You have your first half an hour, which is not about business, which is the way people conduct business in my part of the world. There is no way you're going to go into a business meeting by just jumping into business right away. It's actually rude, If they're gonna offer you coffee, they're gonna offer you stuff, and it has nothing to do with the agenda, the business agenda. But you have to follow that script. You have to basically follow a little bit the customs, and that person will feel better because you're understanding them a little bit. And I feel it's the same thing with leads over the phone. And yes, sometimes we just have to adapt. Sometimes it takes longer, and that's okay. Right.
But just keep reminding yourselves, if you're a person who likes to, talk. Remember, when you're creating a statement, when you're saying a statement, it's about you. When you're asking question, it's about them. So you
very, very important.
Ask questions all the time.
Yeah. So Sekou Pyle, I'm always gonna refer back to Sekou and is training in commitment to capping, where actually you have evenings, mornings, where you have groups of people like making phone calls to actually, get back to their leads, and you'll get the the coaching from Sekou. And guys, if you are in the Alliance movement, if you are part of the Alliance, you can have this for free. This is pretty amazing. You can jump in on Facebook on commitment to capping and get a lot of coaching on how to answer the leads, how to get more business from the leads and get appointments. What is it? Appointment Academy. That's another one. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. you know, and where you generate basically, I think the goal is to generate a certain number of calls and at the end a certain number of appointments, and that's what you want to do. You know, it could be
Absolutely.
fun. It definitely could be fun. Where are my slides? So yeah, another way some people are never going to call you back. And I think we mentioned it yesterday. We had the roundtable, and it was very important. You're calling leads, and you show talking about a certain listing and so on and so forth. And then for some reason, you're trying to call them back and they never answer you. You know, to me, I think you need again to be in charge and set the tone and tell that lead, once you have them over the phone, what will happen on the next phone conversation. Most likely when it's going to be and what will happen and what you'll discuss there. You agree with me?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, tell them that's pretty much giving them the next steps
Right.
of what you're going to be doing. So I completely agree with that. And it goes back to how I mentioned it this morning. Yesterday,
the beginning of
this, in the sense that it's, if you have a generic text, again, buyer, seller, generic, whichever way you want to do it. If you have a generic one, then that already lets them know that you're going to call them soon, you know, in order to get that thing, in order to get that connection going with them.
Yeah. Anyway, let's say you spoke to a Zillow lead and they want to get into this listing, you know, so for some reason the listing they were interested, you know, they thought was available and it shows unavailable on your I'm just giving an example, unavailable on your MLS. You gonna need some time to do a little bit of research. You know, you cannot just end the call and say, oh, let me find you something, you know, and I'll call you back. That is not a call to action. That's what I want to discuss, you know, to everybody out there, especially new agent. A call to action is, Mr. Buyer, all right, so unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see that listing. It's absolutely not available anymore. I will do a research based on the conversation we have for this, and this. All right. When is the best time for us to talk again over the phone? You know, at this time, that is great. I will send you an email with, you know, my finding, and we'll discuss what I sent you, and we can set up a schedule to go on viewing at this and this day. Boom, that's a call for action, you know, and the person agrees, and most likely they will answer you because they were involved in this whole process, right?
Yeah, and that's really good. I mean, you just nailed it on the head with that one. So it's
right, you know, and I think you need to do this all the time. Right. Give them what's next. We're going to talk, but we're going to have a purpose for our talk, you know. We're going to have a purpose for that email. With the next communication we have is going to be for this, you know, and that's very, very important.
Absolutely.
Right.
So before we move on to the next one, our boy Ed actually just says hello to us.
Oh, let me put Ed right here.
Miss you guys.
Hi, Ed. We miss you too.
So, you know, all as well, okay?
Yeah.
But definitely let's get to the next one. I mean, honestly, I think that you just nailed it on the head with the call to action.
Yeah.
That actually is really important for people.
So that's a tough one.
Uh-huh.
They're working with another agent. So yeah, they're never gonna call you back because they're working with an agent. Well, would you pursue that, or would you just drop it?
No, of course pursue it. I mean, honestly, it gets to that point of, in our industry, in our area, pretty much, if they're not in contract with the buyer agents, then yeah, they can work with anyone they want. So just with that mindset alone, I mean, I pretty much just ask them, you know, are you open to other opinions when working with an agent? Are you open to finding other lists of homes? You know, it's really good to actually have more than one person to work with to try to find that home. How soon have you well, how many homes have that person shown you, you know, and you haven't found anything? Those are questions I would ask, right? And then honestly, it's like how successful
you're gonna use the analogy of the person getting a second opinion at a doctor, right?
Yeah.
It's like a free try. It won't hurt. It won't hurt you. You can, still get my what you call that, my listing alerts. We can still go take a look at all the stuff if you want to, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
do you feel like you would be stealing that buyer from the other agent? I'm just being the
I'm just giving them
devil's
options.
advocate.
I'm
Yeah.
not stealing at all. I'm
Okay.
just giving them more options. So it's, honestly, there's people who are loyal and there's people who are not. So
Right.
they're in the market to find their home, and they need to find that person who's going to find it for them.
Right.
So if you can't provide them the services they're looking for, then go ahead. Honestly, it's gone to that point that I've actually worked with some clients that even when asking them, do you feel like your agent has shown you all the best homes that's in the market right now? They say yes.
Right.
And let me start working with you right now. Let me show you
Right.
what else I have. And they want to work with me, and I've closed them, right? And they
Right.
said that my services have been better than what they were working with before.
Right.
So it's it happens, unfortunately. Do I
Right.
do that?
But
often?
you don't want to also like put down the other agent from the
I
get
don't.
go.
And
I've
the thing
seen,
is,
yeah.
the thing is, I don't. I just ask them, hey, like pretty much has the other person used all the options they can to find you your home? Yes, no, then let's go. Let me try to help you find your home.
Mm-hmm.
How aggressive do you need me to be to find this next home for you? So
Right.
it's really at the end of the day, it's really pretty much my purpose of trying to get them to
Right.
buy.
Yeah, and I also have seen people that had the impression they were working with an agent, and you ask them, "Oh yeah, great. Who's the agent?" I don't know. Let me see. I think I have a first name in my phone, and I'm like,
Yeah, I love that.
okay, you're really not working with that person, but it's all right, So yeah, I guess again asking questions, trying to dig a little
all it
bit,
is.
what's
Asking
important. Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
I love it when they say they work with their family members. It's like I'm working
Oh,
with my
that's the
family members.
worst.
It's okay.
Yeah.
To me, it's again, it goes back to wow. I wonder how that Christmas party would be, or I wonder how Thanksgiving would be if they don't find you their home.
But like I know my youngest daughter is actually was considering buying an apartment, and she made it really she made a point to tell me, Mom, I'm absolutely not gonna work with you, and I do understand, I do understand. I'm gonna respect their privacy, make sure like I'm not gonna get into the finances because they're obviously
And
looking
that's
for
what it is,
co-ops and
right?
stuff like
Getting
that.
into the finances.
And yeah, and I'm their mom. I change the diapers. I I know everything about them, but I do understand, and God forbid something doesn't go the way it should go, you don't want to damage that relationship. So
Absolutely not.
on this it's okay. I'll separate it,
Yeah.
Whatever. But I did sell my ex-husband's apartment, so
There you go.
that works too. But it depends. It depends, It
Yeah.
depends.
I agree
Yeah.
with them.
Oh wow. Like when you leave when you call Fizbo's and you leave them a message and you say, Mr. Fizbo, this is Gigi with eXp Realty. Please give me a call back because I have so many buyers for you to see your house. Wow. Do you think this one is going to get a call back? Do you think it will?
You know what? I have to say there may be a small percentage of sellers that may call back, but
Right.
the majority of them no. They're gonna feel like it's a gimmick for them.
And how many? And pretty much everybody else is gonna say the same thing, even if it's only 3 people that call them, and they're gonna say, you know what, we have buyers for you. Wow, this is great. It sounds like it sounds like a gimmick. It sounds like you want to get your foot in the door. Right.
And there's different ways of doing that. Honestly, again, going back to scripts, a lot of the top coaches out there actually have great scripts you can go with, ones that actually are more towards your personalities.
Yeah.
And you should be able to, with that in frame of mind, you should be able to get into the door easily. I wouldn't
even leave a message.
True.
I would not on this. I'm not talking for all the leads, but on the Fizbo, I'll find a way to get to talk to them, whether it's going to be on the phone, whether I'm going to have to go to their house and figure out, where's the pain? Where's the pain? Where can I help you? Not saying, oh, I have all those buyers, because I don't. And I never say to a Facebook, I have buyers, because I don't, because I'm going to advertise your properties to get buyer. I could have, like whatever, like drip buyers from another deal, but are they real? I mean, are they going to be ready to buy your house? I don't know. Right.
Yeah. No, it's
I don't like to lie about that. Yeah.
Well, that's another point I was going to make too. The fact that you don't want to over deliver, and what is it? You don't want to over promise and under deliver.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty much with that, it's like that's the scene that you don't want to have. You don't want to give that impression to the seller, because honestly, seller or buyer as well. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a FSBO, again, they're in the market to sell their home. I'm happy that they're ready to sell their home, but they just need a professional to help them sell their home. So
right. And the numbers are still, if I remember, the difference in sales price from a person using a realtor and a for sale by owner selling on his own is a 17% less money for the FSBO. They're selling for 17% less than they would sell with an agent, and that's a big drop. Right?
Yeah, I think it's a huge drop, but it's it's up to the seller to see that, honestly. And if you're gonna call a seller, honestly, see what they're doing as far as selling their home. Going back to motivation, why they're selling it. See what they're doing to sell their home. What would happen if they didn't sell their home? What plans can you create to help them sell their home? And that is how you get to their door.
Right.
Because
and you cannot even shove the plan in their face, because sometimes they don't, not even ready to.
I would never show right. And they may ask, what's your commission? What's your strategies? What is this? What is that? What are you going to do differently? Right then and there should be your answer to say, you know what, let's take 15, 20 minutes of your time, and I'll be more than welcome.
Let me see the house. Let me see what you got first, Right. Like, we're talking. It's cool.
It makes sense. Let's see if it makes sense for us to work together.
And sometimes you're just curious to see why you wanted to sell it on your own. What's up with the house? Is it that great? Or sometimes, I've seen for sale by owner, you meet them one day on the market and they already have like 4 or 5 appointments lined up with buyers. Like, good, go for it. If you think you're gonna have this house sold by the weekend, bless your heart, and that's it. Why not? This one is good too. You didn't even leave a voicemail. That's for those internet leads, all coming back in and stuff like that. They're calling in. They send you. You getting. They're calling you, or they're even sending some a text or an email, or you're receiving the lead, and you're just not even trying to call and leave them a message. You're gonna send them like a random email stating that basically you got their lead and you've seen they were, they contacted you from Facebook or whatever, and so on and so forth, or just send them a random text. I think this one is kind of defeating the purpose, because they're just going to not even take a look at the email they received, because there is, again, no connection, no nothing. You haven't built mass with them. They don't know what it's about, and they probably forgot.
Right.
So to me, the comeback of not leaving the email is actually to call back.
Well, this is not even leaving a voicemail. So, okay.
But how many people are also screening their calls and stuff like that. They're going to see a missed call. They're not going to call back. It's better for me. I think it's better to go back at it, leave a message and say, here, you contact, I just got your information. You just looked at this listing and so on and so forth. Please give me a call back. I'll be glad to show it to you and blah, blah, blah. Follow up with the text. I just left you a message in regards to this. And let's try again, not just a random email that is going to just be even left unopened and unanswered, right?
Right. So, I mean, if you didn't leave an email, voicemail, again, it's like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So pretty much, you really wanted to honestly answer or at least leave a voicemail versus in a sense of saying, um, pretty much this is a real estate matter, and I was hoping to speak with you about your property.
Yeah. Or basically, or I just saw your inquiry, about this property and so on and so forth. I'll be happy to help you with this and hopefully get into scheduling a viewing. Please call me back at this and that. But this is like going back to the phone call is the boogeyman for a lot of agents.
Yeah.
It's super scary.
It is super scary for a lot of people.
They feel like it would be better to just interact by text or by email. So it's not abrasive. It's like, oh my God, you're not going to sound like an idiot. Oh my God, what am I going to do? They're going to, oh shoot, I'm going to talk to them, And this is what we're being plagued with sometimes hundreds of leads that could turn into, if you nurture them a little bit, because obviously, to me, there is no smoke without fire. If somebody is going to contact you from Zillow, from Realtor.com, from the advertising you've done online, it's because there is some interest.
Yes.
Right? Are they ready yet? Maybe not. But let's find out.
Right.
Right? So you have to come with that frame of mind. Right?
Yeah.
You have to be inquisitive enough.
You have to, honestly.
Right.
Again, voicemails is just really just letting them know that you're interested in helping them out.
Right. Yeah. I think it's really important. If like, of course they're not gonna answer you, so please leave them a voicemail, and just tell them what you're gonna do in that voicemail. Even if you're gonna leave them send them an email, tell them you're going to send them an email. Most likely they're going to listen to your voicemail.
True.
Right. And it's going to be easier sometimes to just call them back, and then they'll pick up the phone.
Right.
Right. And you should tell them, I'm going to call you again. Why not? Right. All right. Some people don't even call back because they did not get enough social proof to take you seriously. I think we need to expand a little bit on this. Let's take a look at our notes right here. The social proof. A lot of people are going to reach you back out, like they saw a property and they're reaching out to Zillow and they're being transferred to you because you're part of the Zillow Premier program, and you're going to call them back and basically going to have this first conversation, and then they're never going to call you again. My question is, if they do a little bit of research and you don't have any reviews, they basically try to find you on Google and there is not much about you, it's very hard to find you, most likely they're not going to take you seriously and want to work with you. Do you agree with me, Israel?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, look, social media.
Don't you think you want to set up at least set up something showing that you are in business, that you're accessible in business? Like you'll have basically anything like a LinkedIn, a Facebook page, an Instagram page with business. Maybe you have your Google business page set up. Something, couple of reviews on Zillow. Something.
Yeah.
Something where they can say, oh, this guy is actually a real estate agent. Okay. This guy actually has done some business. Okay. But if you got nothing, if you can't be found.
Right. So to think of it this way, honestly, what I was going to try to say is that, being in social media is like a resume. It pretty much allows the viewer, allows the people who are going to and want to work with you, see what you've been doing, whether it's real estate, whether it's real life, whether they can connect with you. Again, goes back to what I said before. People will work better and do negotiations with persons who they know and recognize. So once they do that, all right, once they understand what kind of person you are, as far as social media, whether it's your reviews, whether it's Instagrams with all the pictures and reels and TikToks and everything that you do, they get to see the kind of person you are, on a day-to-day, kind of time. So whether you keep putting sold, list under the contract, it might be boring for them. But then if you start adding a little bit more life into the sense of, your life portion of it,
Mhm.
folks may actually get involved and want to really take that into a review of what kind of person you are. So yes, using social media is an important thing. It should be an important aspect of your business, not only on the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, blah 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 blah. But you
You
also
know, I
use
screen I
LinkedIn as
screen
well.
sellers. I check them out. Before I even meet them, I'm gonna go on their social media page. It's gonna give me a good idea of their likes, their interest, what kind of people they are, and then I can, of course, that's gonna allow me to adjust my when I can adjust my presentation because I'll see the type of personality they are.
I actually
You
don't do
know?
that.
Oh, I do. I stalk big time.
I don't. But see, as you stalk the sellers and buyers, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
people
Because
they're
they
gonna
stalk
see it.
you.
Yeah, they do
Many
see it, but
times I go to a
it's
listing
fine.
appointment. They're like, "Oh, I've seen your Facebook. Oh, you do this, Oh, yeah, you do that. I look at that. Yeah,
Hmm.
cool. Why not? It's out there for the world to see. Yeah, it's okay.
Absolutely, and you want to
Right.
be able to be as visible as possible when it comes to your business.
But
So,
even if you're a new agent, you need to set up yourself as a business. I think that's the point I
well,
really
it goes
wanted
back
to
to
make. Yeah.
you keep saying new agents. I think all agents should set up this way.
Yeah.
So
All
I think
agent. Yeah.
seasoned agents who've been around for 10, 15, 30 years, should get off the fact that newspapers are not around anymore and work on the social media.
All right.
They should work
Yeah.
on the fact of beyond the social media. This is a platform that it has exploded a lot of folks in today's market.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to explode or you're looking to do something, go ahead, use social media.
Yeah. So that's it. Like set up yourself as the Me Business Inc. That's
Right.
what you have to do. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And I think la ultima. Oh yes. So you gave away your hand in the voicemail. Let's set a little bit. Let's see what you you're talking to a potential seller or Facebook and stuff, and they say, "Oh yeah, tell me what's your opinion on how much you would price my house at?" You feel you have this great conversation, and then you call them back, they don't answer the phone, and you're like, "Yeah, you know what, Mr. Seller, I was running numbers, and I think I can get you 775 for the house. Let's call me back to discuss." I think, it's like, why would you, first of all, they may have listened to your voicemail and said, "Damn, that number is too low. I don't even want to bother with that girl."
Right.
And I think you need to be very strategic. That's an example to just say you need to be strategic on the voicemails you're leaving. You want to create a little bit, not some mystery, but you want them to call you back. You can just show them all your cards in your voicemail. Right?
Yeah, you definitely don't. I mean, honestly, it's why would they hire you if you already told them what's gonna be, right? Why would they use you if you
Yeah.
already mentioned the price that you're gonna go for them? It's really makes no sense to do that, honestly.
Right. And this was geared towards sellers because we also, have sellers that are never calling back and you totally flop. So, I think the thing is to keep on calling, like be more strategic and say, "Mr. Seller, yes, we discuss numbers. I got like a CMA ready for you. I have basically like a little strategic plan I can show you and my little marketing plan. Just let's find 15 minutes so we can discuss." And you don't have to discuss anything over the phone, just the same as the commission. When somebody asks you what is your commission and you're just going to go, "Oh, it's 6%. Not over the phone.
Right.
You don't know. Sometimes it's not going to be 6%. Sometimes it's going to be 5%. Sometimes it's going to be 5%, where you're going to give them an incentive if you sell that property by yourself. You've done it too. So,
Yeah.
and there's no way to even discuss it over the phone.
Right. There's no way. You
Right.
should really have it a one-on-one with them, whether it's in their house or wherever it is. Just have a one-on-one during your appointment or presentation. So, and it'll be a better way to actually let them know, how much your value is and go from there.
Exactly.
But if this is the last one, honestly, I I just remembered one that we should talk about in the sense that it's, you know, you didn't mean to mention how you got their phone number, which is very important.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is because you mentioned it this in the beginning of this, as far as getting Zillow calls and people, we always get that phone call maybe 3-4 times and says, how did you get my number?
Yeah.
How did you get my number? How did you get my number? How did you get my number?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of us who are afraid of the phone calls will do what? Oops, click. Oh, I don't know. Click.
I know.
Oh my God, I don't know what to say. Click. Right.
Yeah.
So they'll keep saying that because they're afraid of what they think that the person that they're calling became a cold call, and now like they feel like a telemarketer, right? And that's the same reaction though they have when somebody calls them.
But and again, it comes down to if you have enough confidence,
right?
Like we're talking about lead. Let's say you're doing cold call, you're calling expired, you're calling, you're doing like geo prospecting, calling neighbors to tell them about the listing. It's always about your approach, because I've done it, and very, very few times I'm getting the questions, where did you get my number? Because if I'm going to spark the interest, if I'm going to be cool, if I'm going to be calm and collected and just make the phone call, like genuinely, like if I'm going to call neighbors in this era of the do not call, that do not call, what is it called? The state of emergency and all this crap.
Yeah.
But you can still call neighbors and say, I'm going to have this open house for this and that. And you know what? They're not even going to mention, where did you get my number? I very, very, and I will tell them, oh yeah, we get those lists, based on numbers and emails and stuff. Send you an email to invite you to the open house. Right? Are you going to be free on Sunday between 12 and 2?
Yeah, but see, those are invites. I mean,
you could call expired. Obviously, expires, if they ask you, where did you get my number? We do. You were on MLS before.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is pretty much out there. So yeah, contact, and you're not going to be the only person contacting them. You're obviously going to try to help them out. I'm calling you because I found your number on Google. That's where it's at. I mean, to show you I did it. Why not? I mean, there is no secret. Your number is going to appear someplace, somehow. Even if you're on the do not call list, it's going to be there from whatever. It's going to show up on Google.
Absolutely. So to think of it that way, honestly, again, it goes back to when a person says, how'd you get my number? You spoke about it as a seller. When you're speaking to the sellers, so on and so forth. A lot of the buyers, a lot of curious, folks out there, the ones that like to tick, the ones that like to click, the ones that just don't know what's going on. The best way to answer those is pretty much you at one point, you or your family member at one point clicked on that home and then gave us your number. Is anyone interested in actually buying a home or selling a home at this time?
Yeah.
What they'll say, maybe yes, no. Most of them will say, I'm not interested, right? But if you're not interested, who else do you know that's looking to buy or sell? Yeah. Just try to build that business. Yeah. I don't know anyone. Are you currently renting or buying? I'm renting right now. Did you know that you actually can buy a home less for what you're renting for? Yeah. Would you ever like to see how many homes you can buy for? Right. I don't have the money. I have a team that can set up a program for that. So you see how I went there. So in the sense that it's like if you're on the phone with someone and they actually says, how'd you get my number?
Keep them on the phone,
and just don't worry about how you got that. You just let them know.
Even if they don't want to sell, let's see if you have enough equity. Maybe you would want to invest in something. Take money. Exactly.
So if you clicked on the link, hey, someone clicked on the link. It might have been you, might have been your friend, it might have been your family member.
Yeah.
Who do you know that actually is looking to buy? Because somebody clicked it.
Definitely.
Clicked it.
Yeah. I know.
Somebody did. So
I know.
That's a really great way for those who actually are afraid to knowing what to say next.
Yeah.
And if you notice how I did that, it's pretty much I kept asking questions soon after. So but good luck to everyone and trying to get those clients back on the phone again.
Yeah.
Because it is not easy. I will say this. We make it sound easy.
Definitely. It's not easy. You gotta one more thing, you gotta practice. You gotta have some sort of script. You have to, that confidence does not work itself. You have to build it. And the only way to build it is by doing it. All right. And the leads are basically your book of business. So we have to work them. They're not
Yep.
going to work themselves.
So again,
Okay.
it goes back to what I said earlier, in
Yeah.
the sense that, the 4 stages. You go from first of getting a contact, any human being that says hello to you. Any
Yeah.
human being that says hello to you. You go to leads. You convert them to leads. Now they're interested. Now they want to move forward. Then you convert them into appointments. Now they're interested even more. You're going to take them out to whatever houses that they want, and you put them into contract.
Mm-hmm.
If each stage, if you're not able to convert from contact to leads, there's something wrong. We need to fix that.
Right.
Leads to appointments, something's wrong. You're not talking to them the right way.
Right.
Everything needs to be fixed. And it's, best way to do it is learn your scripts, learn your process, and role play practice a lot. So that's definitely going to help you out.
This is it. On this note, have a great Memorial Day weekend, people.
Bye, everyone.
All right, this was great. Great
Yeah.
insight. Always love to talking to Israel because he's got, like you've been in business for how long?
Oof, I keep saying 10 years, but it sounds
It's
so
probably
old.
more. And you know what is love? What I really appreciate is like you're always going back to the basics, always getting coached. I love that about you. Always trying to, I'm probably gonna get back into it because it's been a couple of years I haven't had a coach. And I feel like sometimes just gives you a boost. You get back to basically basic practice, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, yeah.
A coach always, whether the coach sounds the same, but I always feel like different coaches have different ways, and they can always fine tune certain things for you that, you thought you were doing it right, but maybe that extra fine tune will help you boost it even more.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. So have a great
weekend.
Have a great weekend.
All right. And we'll talk until next week. Let's hope to have Ed around next week. That would be fantastic.
Ed, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Miss you, Ed.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye. Should I put the music back? I don't know.
Why not?
Let's look at the branding. You see, I'm like the best DJ. I'm telling you what I'm doing. And it was called Feeding the Duck. Bye, guys.
Bye.